Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming forward to show interest in becoming a benefits form filling volunteer, which is a fantastically valuable service that we are providing for local residents to help them fill in the very important benefit forms, which are often very daunting to local people to fill in. So this is a really important role. It's a great role, a great way to help people and to meet people, and thank you for stepping forward. So this is just a short video just about how it's a kind of a training video for you as volunteers. There will also be separate training from the Citizens Advice Bureau specifically on the forms, but this is more about your role as a volunteer and how you'll be a volunteer with Volunteer Centre Sutton. So just a quick agenda. We'll start by introducing Volunteer Centre Sutton. Many of you know us already, but we'll talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. We'll explain the role, talk about the training, and we'll also introduce your project coordinator, which is Sandra, who we'll come to shortly. We'll talk about where you'll be based to do the volunteer role. We'll talk about booking shifts. And then we'll touch on safeguarding and volunteer expenses and some next steps. So it's a very short video, should last about 15 minutes, and it should give you everything you need to know at this stage about how to become a volunteer for this very worthwhile project. So just to quickly introduce Volunteer Centre Sutton. We are a dedicated charity for volunteering in the Sutton area. We're the go-to people for volunteering. We have been for over 50 years. So we help to generate interest and to manage volunteer recruitment across organisations across Sutton. And we help around 1,500 people each year get into volunteering. And we support about 500 charities, groups and organisations to recruit volunteers and to manage them. But we also run a number of our own volunteer projects. So some of our team actually recruit and manage our own volunteers, whether it's the things like MAPS mentoring, befriending, integrating Sutton, which is about welcoming communities into Sutton area, or even working with young people through things such as young commissioners. So we're a really lovely charity based in Sutton, and this is the form filling role is a new role we'll be looking to introduce very shortly with your help. So a little bit about the role. So as we said, and you'll have seen on some of the initial information you've received, it's about helping local residents who require guidance and support to complete certain what can be very daunting application forms when they're seeking benefits. So they often really, really need people's help. And with some training, some specialist training from Citizens Advice Bureau, you'll be well placed to help them, and they will be so grateful and happy, and obviously it will help them achieve financial support which they're entitled to. So we're seeking compassionate individuals like yourselves to come forward and become benefit form filling volunteers. You'll sit with residents to help them complete the forms. We typically sessions are something like two hours ish to complete one of the forms, and yeah, then it'll be submitted, and then we wait for the news on the receipt of the funding or confirmation once the form is processed. And full training will be given on the actual form filling elements by Citizens Advice Bureau, lovely people who are based at the Civic Centre, and we're looking into making sure that you're all put through that training very shortly. Okay, so there's a range of forms that we will help residents with. Some of those are listed here, and we will be going through these in great detail when the Citizens Advice Bureau take you through their specific training. The most typical form is called PIP. It's the Personal Independence Payment, previously called Disability Living Allowance, and it is quite a lot of information that residents need to give. And if they're not familiar with the form, it can be very daunting. There's also things like the PIP review, which is a second stage of the PIP, which is done after the first 2 years. So it's almost like a check-in one to see if people are entitled to an extension. Then there's forms around universal credit, capabilities for work, and attendance allowance benefits, etc. So these 6 here tend to be the most typical ones, but PIP and PIP review will tend to be the ones that come most often. And Citizens Advice will show you these and take you through exactly what you need to do when you are helping residents. Okay, so as volunteers, we will give you full support from the Volunteer Centre Sutton, and Sandra is your dedicated project coordinator. So Sandra Lewis has actually been a great volunteer herself. She's volunteered for some time with Volunteer Centre Sutton and is taking on this new project as your coordinator. So Sandra will be your go-to contact for anything relating to the project. She'll also manage booking you onto the shifts, because we'll obviously need to book you in at times which are suitable for residents, and to make sure that you'll have an appointment and that's runs smoothly. Sandra will be working 2 days per week on the project. That's Mondays and Tuesdays, and anything you need, you can direct through her or myself. My name is Nick Baum, and I'm the Community Support Manager. So we're here to help. We're here to make it as easy as possible and to have a great volunteer experience, and you can come to us for anything relating to the role. So where will you be based? Well, for those that you don't know, we're based on Sutton High Street, just above the Sound Lounge. So right in the heart of Sutton, on, very close to the busy sort of shopping hub. And we have quite a few different spaces in our office where you can sit with as a volunteer with a resident. So most of the time, if possible, we're hoping that you will be able to come into our offices in Sutton High Street. But there are a number of spaces you could also use, such as the civic offices, Sutton Central Library, and that's great because it gives you options if there are some things such as mobility challenges and privacy. So there are different types of spaces that we can find for you to sit in quiet and to help these people to work through these forms. Okay, so booking your volunteer shifts. It will be we're hoping there are going to be about 10 volunteers who sign up initially, so quite a small number, but Sandra will manage all of your volunteer shifts and all of the bookings of those shifts. So we'll have a simple spreadsheet which we will manage and we will book you in. Here's an example of the way it might look below, but it will just be a case of us booking you into a particular slot. We'll make sure that you have a clear instruction on who you'll be meeting, which type of form, and then you'll get together with that person at the agreed location and take it from there. If we're looking for particular slots to fill, Sandra will create a WhatsApp group, which we'll talk about a bit more in a minute, and then we'll publish available slots to the group. So hopefully volunteers can step forward and we'll have a regular sequence of volunteers who are regularly booked in to help the local people. Okay, just a very quick one on safeguarding. Nothing too much to worry about here because you will be based in our offices most of the time or in a public space. And it's really just to say that it's in all of our interests that if you do, through your discussions and your meetings, you do come across something that doesn't feel right, or you do feel that you're in position or someone is vulnerable, it's in all of our interest to promote and protect the welfare of children and adults at risk. So as a person dealing with the public, it's more just to bear that in mind as you are dealing with people. And anyone who comes into contact with the public has a role to play in identifying concerns. So, and what I would say right up front on this section is obviously we're here to support you. If anything happens, anything is said or shared with you when you're having these discussions, then please, all we ask you to do is to make sure your contact at VCS, or Volunteer Centre, knows about it. Let us know straight away and we'll take it from there. So please be the eyes and ears of safeguarding and let us know should anything come up. We do have a number of policies around safeguarding, child safeguarding and confidentiality as well. And all of these policies are available on request for your reference should you need them. So if you want to see more about how we operate in these very important areas, then please let us know and we can follow up with more information. And as I said, if you have any concerns at all about anything that happens, then literally all we want you to do is just don't ignore it. Do let us know and we can pick it up from there because you will be dealing with range of different people, and if you do hear of something, obviously we want to make sure that the right safeguarding process is in place. And finally, confidentiality is also super important. You will be helping with people with personal information. Really important that you don't share that with anybody, and you also don't share information about yourself. It is a professional service. As a volunteer, you'll be providing. So just be mindful that confidentiality is important, and no personal information about anyone you're dealing with should be shared. And likewise, please don't share anything confidential about yourselves either. Important to keep that line of we want you to get on with the residents and to provide them with a great service and communicate fantastically well with them, but it is important to keep that professional distance as well. Volunteer expenses. So we really appreciate you giving up your time to take on this really valuable role. We will reimburse you for any reasonable expenses incurred. So if it's perhaps bus or travel journeys to and from our offices, that's all absolutely fine. So yeah, this is a standard form which we'll send you afterwards. And if there are any expenses relating to delivering the role, that's absolutely fine. We'll be happy to reimburse you for anything relating to that. Okay, and that's it. That is the short presentation. Well, massive welcome. Thank you for getting involved. We are following up to get you booked into the Citizens Advice specific training. So we will be contacting you in due course if not already. So a few next steps will be, we will set up a WhatsApp group shortly. So we'll add everybody we have contact details for to that group. Please let us know if you don't want to be part of that group and we'll make sure you're not included, but otherwise we'll add you shortly, and that'd be a great way for us to update you on next steps and also for you to talk to each other and give feedback to us and the staff members and colleagues about how things are going, any feedback, any improvements to the project we can make. So it'd be great to get you all together to chat on the group. And also at some point we will hope to meet with you all personally as a group too, and we can have a feedback session once you're up and running. So after today, we will send you a copy of this short presentation. This will be, this is with you anyway as a video, but we can send you a hard copy of the slides as well if you want to look through them in your own leisure. And we will send you the volunteer expenses form and get you added to that WhatsApp group unless we hear from you as well. And just a final point, just a reminder of the key contacts. So as we said, Sandra Lewis and Nick Baum are the two key contacts. Sandra will be your primary contact. There's her her phone number and her email address. And there's Nick's contact details. That's myself on my mobile and my email address as well. So you can come through to either of us. But if you can't get hold of either of us, then please just call the main office number, which is the one that Sandra's has there on against her name. And you can come through to one of our colleagues and we'll do our best to help you with anything you need. And there's the main number again with the address, as I said, above the Sound Lounge at the bottom of the high street, quite close to Asda. So anything you need, if you need to pop in or you need to speak to us, we'd love to talk to you. And if you have any questions at all about the project, please feel free to come through to Sandra or myself, drop us an email or give us a call and we'll be delighted to talk to you about that. Great. So, got any questions? This is obviously a video, so it won't be an opportunity to ask them live. But as I said, drop us an email, give us a call, and we are so grateful. Thank you very much for taking part. It's a really valuable service. We've had people that have done this role in previous years, and they've really enjoyed it. Felt like they've really given back something to local people, and I'm sure you'll feel the same. And thank you so much for taking part. It's really, really valuable. So great. All the best to you, and thanks very much.